So we're going to take our propeller block here. You can see color of that kind of looks odd on the screen here at least. Anyway, this side is the root. So the part that's got the rectangular cross section, this is the root. So you're taping out towards the tip. So pop out a pair of your propeller blades here. So before you form up your blades, you're going to want to clean the little burrs off of them because this is easiest when they are flat. And I would recommend setting these down and this little bit of parchment paper here. I do recommend sanding these, and how much you sand them is to your prerogative. Also dictates on how high the ceiling you're flying under. So for low ceiling, you would benefit from having them be kind of floppy. For high ceiling, not so much. I'm using about 200 grit sandpaper here. I'm not really pressing down, I'm just letting the weight of the sanding block take care of this. Be sure not to sand the root of the blade off too much, because that makes it harder to measure things out when you're done. I'll try and sand this leading edge a little bit. And again, this isn't totally necessary, but it's there should you need it. And then we'll repeat that on the other blade real quick, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we have both of our blades sanded down, looking good. And so we're going to take these and we're going to get them soaking wet, and we'll be right back. Okay, so now, again, we've got our propeller block. This is the root, this is the tip. We're going to take these blades and we're going to orient them this way. So this is the front of the blade. Do not set it like that. Set it like this. Like that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to press that in. We're actually going to stack the two of these together. And I recommend putting them so that they're a little bit out from here, like so. The reason for that is you're going to stick them fairly far out on the prop. Like that. And then after that, we're going to take a piece of paper towel and we are going to wrap this on here. We're going to wrap it on very, very tightly. Like that. You should take the, use good paper towels so you know, so you can put a lot of pressure on here. Now, this has to sit and dry for a while, and good news, bad news, all that, however you want to say it. This is these blocks are printed from PLA unless otherwise noted, so you cannot put this in the oven. So you just got to let it go sit somewhere and dry. So set the prop aside for now. Okay, so now we are going to make our propeller. Well, assemble our propeller. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop out a pair of propeller spars here. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, and so there we have two of our propeller spars. Now, don't worry too much about the burrs on those. The main thing is, so these are tapered in this direction. They're not tapered this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these, we're going to taper this dimension down. And this is fairly easy to do. We're just going to lay these side by side. And I hit them with some sandpaper. Just bring them down the thickness. The tips will sand down fairly quickly. It's the center section that you want to make sure you get. And that looks about right. I think I'll hit them with a little more sandpaper. And there we go. So, as we showed you, actually let me show you this way. We showed you this view before, and now, if we bring them together, well, we'll set it like this. You see they now taper down from 3/32 down to something thinner. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just set these propeller spars, so pick some dimension. I'm going to take alright, so this is the surface that we sanded, so I'm going to keep that surface upright. I'm going to take these spars and I'm going to turn them around like that. I'm just going to set those there for a minute and try not to knock them around too much with my pliers while we make a propeller shaft. So I'm going to make mine with round nose pliers, so I'm going to bend like so. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to bend this completely 180 degrees, maybe, like that. I'm going to bend it back like so, like that shape. Now I'm going to grab it. Now we've got that. Now I'm going to cut this, actually no, we're not going to do that standard, we're going to do a different standard. Let's set this next to our bearing here. So we want to make sure the back is fully clear. We come out here and we look about that distance, so that's about 3/16 of an inch. Make it a 1/4 of an inch. You probably ought to measure that if you haven't done this type of thing before. And now I'm going to bend it over 90 degrees, like that. Like so. Now I'm going to take one of my propeller spars. So I have lifted it up like this. So I've got my propeller shaft in plane with that. So we're going to just glue it straight on like that. You may want to put a groove in here, so I'm going to turn it this way. And let me find my... So you can actually come in here, notch this like that. So you get a little notch for your propeller spar. Don't have to do that, but it does make the assembly a little easier. So now we've got that notch. So So I can lay my spar in that. I just set it so that it's perpendicular. I've got enough excess glue there that I can set this down. I can bring that other prop spar over next to it and assemble it like that. And you want to, make sure they're fairly squared up. Now, most of you will find that that's a little on the fragile side for you. So come over here to that tail boom excess and snip off a little piece of wood and glue it across the joint. So you end up looking like this, and you've got your little scab over here. And that just makes it a little stronger. You can put another one on the other side if you really just gotta. But I don't just gotta. Now, dig into your parts bag, and you're going to have a piece of Teflon tubing in here that we discussed a while back. Pull the Teflon tubing out, and we're going to snip off a piece of that Teflon tubing that is less than 1/16 of an inch long. It's going to be very small, and our goal is to thread that onto the propeller shaft. And before you complain to me I can't get it to fit on there, it will fit. It is not easy. And if you have to, poke a straight pin in the end of this stuff to thread it on there. There it goes. Alright, so I don't know if that even shows up. You can see that tiny little piece of Teflon tubing on there. And before you ask, yes, you do need the Teflon tubing. The airplane will not fly well without it. So there's my little Teflon tubing. Focus camera. I'm just going to slide it all the way up there, like that. Alright. Okay, so having assembled our propeller hub assembly, we're going to go ahead and cut out this propeller pitch gauge. And this is set to give you a 22-inch pitch based on the 3 3/8 inch station, radius station on your prop. Now you're forming this prop at 20 inches, so what we're doing is we're just giving ourselves 2 inches worth of advance ratio on the prop. So all we're doing is popping these little pieces out of here. Okay, now the assembly orientation of this part is absolutely critical. So set it like that. If it were in front of you, it would be like this. So we're going to stick that on with a little notch in here, facing like so. And where's my parchment paper? So I want this straight up and down. Now I'm going to take these little pieces, squirt some glue inside their little U-notch right there, and I'm going to slide these in like that. I'm going to do the same thing up on the top. Like that. Now, last thing, you got to make sure you orient this correctly because you want it like this, so that you have a correct turning propeller. So not like that. Don't do it like that. Do it like that. If you need a guide, it should be set up to where the notches are on this side. I'm going to hold it up against the inclined side of my prop block here, with this being the square, the root area, and this should angle parallel to that out there more or less. All I'm trying to tell you to do is not make a backwards pitch gauge. And there we go. Now we're going to cut off a little piece of, thin little piece of masking tape. That's still going to be too thick. Now we'll make a new one. You could use scissors to do that, but I'm lazy. Alright, so we're going to lay this guy in so the spar sits in that notch. Now if you notice it's sticking out here a little bit to clear the teflon washer that you have made. And pull this tape back in here. Bring it together so that that's locked in. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and pull our propeller blades out of here. Excuse my son who's having fun over there. And I'm trying to rush this build video, so my propeller blades, unfortunately, are not dry. So I'm going to interrupt this and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we've got a pin involved here, and we want to set our propeller up so that we have a radius of 6 inches, or slightly under that. You want to go a little under it, not over. So I'm setting just a little over 5 7/8 out here, and I'm just going to put a mark on the spar for my radius. And we'll do that with each blade. So at this point now, we can just line this up on the marks and glue it. So what we'll do is we'll put some glue on our propeller spar here. And now, I'm going to set that root right there. And I want to make sure that we're lining up on little spar notches, or spar marks. So and I got some glue on the blade, don't want to do that. So we've got the little marks along here. And so I'm just holding this against there, and that gives me my 46-degree angle. And now what I will do is very carefully massage that around there like that. And I'm going to repeat that process on this side. So again, I'm looking for the root of my propeller blade, where it goes to get me a little over 5 7/8 inch radius. Put a mark. There's the end of the blade. My eye's playing tricks on me. And now, come in here, we're going to glue this along. Drop that root in the same spot. Flip this over, and I'm looking to lay it down on little spar marks on the back, just like before. And so now I've got that blade set to 22 inches pitch at 3 3/8 inch radius. So now, at this point, you should, making sure everything is where I left it. I think that blade may have shifted a little. Yeah, I think it did. Nah. Check in here again. Yeah, it shifted a little bit. So that may have been slight overkill. There we go. Alright, so bottom line is now this is a Frankly, this is a pretty competitive propeller blade, or propeller. It's not just a blade. And I can actually slide my prop shaft in here. At this point, lock all this in. And you can see we get this sweet turning penny plane prop. Alright, on to the next step.